Is it not true that the world is on fire in Ukraine? The world is on fire in the Middle East, and that there are embers smoldering in the Indo-Pacific.
Senator John Kennedy didn't mince words. The world, he declared, is on fire. This stark assessment, delivered during a heated exchange with Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, laid bare the senator's deep concerns about America's current foreign policy trajectory. Kennedy sees a world teetering on the brink, engulfed by multiple crises and threatened by the rising power of hostile nations.
It's as challenging as we've seen.
Is it not true? Sorry to cut you off, but we only have limited time. Is it not true that China, Russia, and Iran have worked between and among themselves to either start those fires, encourage those fires, or create those embers?
The backdrop for this exchange was a world grappling with a multitude of challenges. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine, fueled by Russian aggression, continued to destabilize Eastern Europe. The Middle East remained a cauldron of unrest, with terrorism and sectarian violence posing constant threats. Meanwhile, in the Indo-Pacific, China's increasingly assertive posture raised alarms about its ambitions in the region. Kennedy's warning, however, extended beyond simply acknowledging these challenges. He went a step further, arguing that the Biden administration's policies were failing to adequately address, and perhaps even exacerbating, these global threats.
That China, Russia, and Iran would like to see Russia dominate Central and Eastern Europe.
I think China would like to see the United States be unsuccessful. They would like to see Russia continue to challenge us and keep us, focused on that area, so that we have less time and energy and resources to focus.
Well, the situation I just described, I appreciate you parsing your words, but the situation I just described would not disappoint China, Russia, or Iran, would it?
Threats. The senator pointed to what he perceived as weakness and indecision in the administration's approach to foreign policy, arguing that such a posture only emboldened America's adversaries. This exchange, coming just weeks after a devastating terrorist attack on American soil, underscored the urgency of Kennedy's concerns. The attack, which claimed the lives of 14 people on New Orleans' famed Bourbon Street, served as a chilling reminder of the very real threats facing the United States. Kennedy argued that the attack was not an isolated incident, but rather a symptom of a broader failure to confront and neutralize threats to American security.
Strike that. Do you believe that weakness invites the wolves?
I do. I think deterrence. In order to deter, you have to show strength.
And if we do not meet these challenges now, do you believe it will be more expensive in terms of America blood and treasure to meet them later?
I do. I do, Senator.
All right, I've got one last question. Mr. Secretary, I'm looking at your and the president's proposed supplemental. What does $16 billion for child care, $6.5 billion for the Federal Communications Commission to extend high-speed internet, and $3.1 billion for the FCC to reimburse telecommunication companies to replace insecure equipment have to do with the world challenges we're facing right now?
For Senator Kennedy, the answer to these gathering threats is clear strength. He argues that the United States must project an image of power and resolve on the world stage, backing up its words with decisive action. Kennedy believes that only through strength can the United States deter its adversaries and protect its interests. Central to Kennedy's call for strength is a robust military. He argues that the United States must maintain its military superiority, investing in cutting-edge technology, and ensuring that its armed forces are prepared to meet any challenge. Kennedy has been a vocal critic of what he sees as inadequate defense spending, arguing that the Biden administration is putting the nation at risk by prioritizing domestic programs over national security. Beyond military might, Kennedy also stresses the importance of economic strength. He argues that the United States must reduce its dependence on foreign adversaries.
Bill calling for a special inspector general in Ukraine so we could follow every penny of American taxpayer money, given the fact that the inspector general of the Department of Defense has never been able to audit his own department.
Kennedy's concerns about the Biden administration's foreign policy are shared by many, both within and outside of government. Critics argue that the administration has failed to articulate a clear and coherent strategy for dealing with the multifaceted challenges of the 21st century. They point to what they see as a lack of leadership on the world stage, a reluctance to use American power effectively, and a prioritization of domestic concerns over national security. The Biden administration, for its part, argues that it is pursuing a foreign policy that is both principled and pragmatic. It points to its efforts to rebuild alliances, re-engage with international institutions, and promote democracy and human rights as evidence of its commitment to a more stable and prosperous world. Whether the United States is adequately prepared to meet the challenges outlined by Senator Kennedy remains an open question. What is clear, however, is that the world is becoming an increasingly complex and dangerous place. The stakes are high, and the choices facing American policymakers are fraught with risk. As the debate between Senator Kennedy and the Biden administration demonstrates, there is no easy answer, no simple solution to the foreign policy dilemmas of our time.